Our conversation on youth mental health continues now with a look into the world of sports. Reporter Royce Jones from our CBS station in Pittsburgh shows you how one soccer coach is making mental health part of the goal for her players.
For this elite group of girls at the Beadling Soccer Club in Canonsburg, ball is life. High school seniors Stephanie Cornelius and Haley Longwell have decided to further their soccer careers and are both celebrating commitments to Division I universities, which is something most of the athletes that come through this league do or aspire to do. But the success these girls have achieved has not come without discipline and sacrifice.
I have team practices like 3 times a week approximately, and then on the other days I'm normally working out on my own, going to the field with myself.
You have high school practice, and when you don't have practice and you have games, so there's never really a day off.
And underneath the demanding schedule, intense physical strain, and tough competition are the emotional pressures of being the perfect athlete and scholar.
You're competing on your team, but you're also comparing yourself in the classroom.
I feel like a lot of athletes especially, they always feel that pressure of, you can't really mess up or let people see that you're sometimes maybe not doing okay.
Something their head coach, Libby Mascaro,
Excellent. I love it.
is working to change. She volunteers with the National Alliance on Mental Illness and knows the impact that stress of this magnitude can have on kids.
The statistics for children aged 10 to 24, the number 2 cause of death is suicide.
In fact, in 2022, 5 NCAA athletes died by suicide within a 2-month time frame. It created concern in college sports. Mascaro says that she's working with her high school athletes to create a culture of love by putting less emphasis on performance and more on the person.
They walk in and it's not just, hey coach, it's like they're beelining to get them, for you to ask them a question about their life that's not soccer. How was your brother's piano recital, or how was your science test yesterday, or what's going on, something outside of soccer.
Coach Mascaro reminds parents when it comes to their young athletes, they need to act as a goalie against some of the pressures that come their way.
Maybe they lost, and they get in the car, and maybe the child is quiet. The last thing the parent should be doing is saying, I can't believe you didn't do X, Y, Z, or why didn't you do this? Just turn around and say, hey, I love watching you play. And then if they are upset, maybe they talk about it.
Purple's in.
Keeping these girls confident off the field so they can be competitive on it.
Yes, Ella. Yes, Gabby.
Perspective you might not have thought about. Joining me now is Casey Uren from Oakland-based Positive Coaching Alliance. Thank you so much for being here. I was just telling you in the break, I was a kid who couldn't do pull-ups in PE, and I judged the kids who could, and I thought that maybe because I was different, maybe I had the corner on the market of struggle, but our athletes struggle too.
Absolutely, and I think the unique thing about sports is that it presents this amazing opportunity for all kids at the youngest level to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of connection, to have a caring adult in their life, but only when it's done right. And when the adults who are responsible for this experience are equipped with the right tangible tips and tools that they can use to create this positive environment for youth, because that's ultimately what the #1 goal should be, is to create this experience that can develop better people, build a sense of connection, make kids feel included, rather than driving kids out of sports, having bullying happening, and having kids quit sports at a very high rate.
Well, and you take from the experience of being involved in sporting activities the tools that you need when you are having a mental health crisis. The ability to exercise, to look at your nutrition in a healthy way, community and team building. Those are all things that can help save a life, and they're important for that reason. Tell me what these tips and tools are that you like people to take away.
Yeah, I think one key thing is a lot of people say, sports can develop resiliency. Well, what does resiliency really mean? And one thing that we talk about is trying to have a mastery approach to sport. And that is really talking about having a growth mindset and believing that when you focus on effort and things that you can control, that is exciting, that you can make progress and you can improve as a person. Where if you have a fixed mindset, you might think I'm not good at this, and therefore if I, don't do something well, I have failed. Rather than thinking, I can get better at this, and if I work hard, then this can improve. And I think that the adults, the parents, and the coaches can actually reinforce that mindset in a positive way by praising effort, even when the outcome isn't there. But you tried really hard, and I saw you putting in the work, and you may have not seen the result that you wanted, but you absolutely tried your best, and that is a win right there.
You know, as we have these conversations, it causes me as a parent to be introspective. I've talked to so many people in our CBS family who say, I'm literally taking these things home to my own family.
Yeah.
I tell my kids, we praise effort before excellence, but I almost think that that even isn't the right term because it sets up excellence as the ideal. It should be on the effort and the progress.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, youth today can sometimes fall into this comparison trap with social
Right.
media, and you're striving for perfection and looking for that, comparing yourself to others. Whereas if you really are introspective and you think about, which is challenging,
Right.
but think about, what can I get better at today? How can I make my teammates better? How can I make my community better? How can I support someone? That really that progress and growth path is something that can be super helpful for youth.
Signs to look for if an athlete is struggling.
Yeah, I think, when you see an athlete maybe missing practice more, personal hygiene changes, maybe higher irritability, those can all be signs. I think the scariest thing is when there are no signs. We have seen quite a few examples in the last few years where there's absolutely no sign of an athlete who's struggling and potentially they take their life. And I think that is something where modeling can potentially be help. Drew Robinson, I don't know if you're familiar with his
Sure.
story.
Yeah.
He's done a webinar with us and actually talks about, he says the one thing that really could have helped me is hearing my coach talk about their mental health struggles and how they actively sought out therapy, not in a direct way, but just addressing the locker room and saying I might be dealing with something and therapy really helped me this morning, and that's a great thing, and let's talk about it.
Opening the conversation,
Yes.
creating safe spaces. Thank you for that, KCU. I'm calling you KCU from now on. Positive Coaching Alliance, thank you so much. We'll have those resources and a link on our website, kpix.com.